Hello guys, today we are going to talk about Python loops, how loops are used in Python. Okay, let's start. In this tutorial we learn variable Python loops with the help of examples. The flow of the program written in any programming language is sequential by default. Sometimes we may need to alter the flow of the program. The execution of a specific code may need to be repeated several number of times. For this purpose, the programming languages provide various types of loops which are capable of repeating some specific code several number of times. Consider this diagram to understand the working of a loop statement. Right. Why we use loops in Python? The loop simplifies the complex problems into the easy ones. It enables us to alter the flow of the program so that instead of writing the same code again and again, we can repeat the same code for a finite number of times. For example, if we need to print the first 10 natural numbers, then instead of using the print statement 10 times, we can print inside a loop which runs up to 10 iterations. Now, advantages of loops. It provides code reusable. Using loops, we do not need to write the same code again and again. Using loops, we can traverse over the elements of data structure, array, or linked list. Now, loop statements, we have the following loop statements. Loop statement: for loop, while loop, do while loop. For loop. What is for loop? The for loop is used in the case where we need to execute some part of the code until the given condition is satisfied. The for loop is also called as an per-tested loop. It is better to use for loop if the number of iteration is known in advance. While loop. The while loop is to be used in the scenario where we don't know the number of iterations in advance. The block of statements is executed in the while loop until the condition specified in the while loop is satisfied. It is also called a pre-tested loop. And now we have the last one, do while loop. The do while loop condition until a given condition satisfies. Do while loop continues until a given condition satisfies. It is also called post-tested loop. It is used when it is necessary to execute the loop at least once, mostly. Now, this will go to the for loop. The for loop in Python is used to iterate the statements or a part of the program several times. It is frequently used to traverse the data structure like list, tuple, and or dictionary. And let's try the loop in our code example. Let's see. Iterating string using a loop. Now, iterating string using a loop for loop. This is our example, and let's see str is string equal to with str you can use anything. For my reference I'm using str because whenever you use string so I use str. Whenever I use list I use list. So that is for referencing. There is no restrictions for what name you can use there. Okay. For I in str, print I. Now you can see the answer. Instead of Python, I'll move it to, now let's check this code. See, this is the loop for I in string in I. So it will be calculating each and every alphabet. Now let's try one more example with list. This is the program to print the table of the given number. My given number is 1 to 10. Now see, least is equal to 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5 comma 6 comma 7 comma 8 comma 9 and comma 10. This is my least of values, and n is equal to 5. What I am defining, if, sorry, for I in least, c is equal to n into I. N is 5 into I, what it will do is it will take 5 into I is nothing but a least is 1, then again it will go for 2, again 3 4 5 6 7, it will repeat in that way. Then after that we print C. Now see, like 5 ones are 5, 5 twos are 10, 5 threes are 15, 5 fours are 20, 5 fives are 25, 5 six are 30. It goes on. I'll change it to 6 and see, 6 ones are 6, 6 twos are 12, 6 threes are 13. This is the code to table of a given number. Now we'll try one more example. We'll write a program to print the sum of sum of the given list. Right, list is equal to, I'll take 10, 30, 22, 43, 64 and 12, and the sum is equal to, I'll take sum is equal to 0 for I in list equal to sum is equal to sum plus 1. No, we'll take it as sum plus I. Now print the sum is sum. Now execute this code. 182. How we got 182? Now let's calculate. Sum is equal to 0 plus I. Now calculate these: 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 105, 160, 170, and 12 is 182. Right, we got the 182. It's calculating the complete list of values starting with 0. Right, now let's move on to the next for loop using range statement. Range statement. The range function is used to generate the sequence of the numbers. If we pass the range 10, it will generate the numbers of 0 to 9. Now the syntax of a range function is range, start the range, stop the range, step size. This is the syntax what we use. The start the range in the bracket first start represents the beginning of the iteration. The stop represents that the Loop will iterate till stop minus 1. The range is 1 comma 5 will generate numbers 1 to 4 iteration. It is optional. The step size is used to skip the specific numbers from the iteration. It is optional to use. By default, the step size is 1. It is optional. By default, step size is only 1. Now let's get on to the example and we see how it works. Okay, program to print number in sequence. Write a program to print numbers in sequence. Okay. For I in range 10, print I comma end is equal to nothing. Now see what we have is I got this code for I. Okay, for I meaning this space. Here in syntax, you can see it's pointing out where the error is and it's saying invalid syntax. Execute the code. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right? Now let's try one more example. Write a program to print table of given number. N is equal to int input. We use input to pop up the input from the user input number. Okay, then for I in range 1 comma 11, C is equal to N into I. Print N now comma star star comma I comma equal to comma C. I'm sure you guys are getting confused. I'll explain the code. Let's here what we are asking to input the enter the number, whatever number we enter. Here in next line for I in range 1 to 11, C is equal to N into I. N. What is the N? N is the input value from the customer. From the I. I is from 1 to 11. Right. Print N. I'm printing N. And the number what we have inputted is that this star. It prints the star as it is. And then I it goes 1, then to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the equal to sign it will be printed as it is, and the C, the whatever value for the C we get it for each iteration, that will be displayed here. Now let's see, execute the code. Now we type 5, enter. Now you can see the table of 5 till the 10th, because we have given the value till 11, so it will take it n minus 1. So 11 minus 1 is 10. This is the table, and we can change the table to 5 to 35. We'll get the result. It's so easy. See, so Python is much easier than other programming languages. Now we'll try one more example. Write a program to print even number using step size in range. Program to print even number using step size in range. Now we use range values. N is equal to int input, enter the number. For I in range 2 comma n comma 2, print I. Number is 5, and now you can see it here. What do we have? Printed even number using the step. Just we are printing even number. We are not printing odd number. So I have entered the number below 5. It has printed the step size even numbers. And we can also use the range functions with sequence of numbers. The len function is combined with range function, which iterate through a sequence using indexing. Here we have used the range function, right? So we use the range function along with len. Let's see the example. List is equal to Peter, P-E-E-R, next Joseph, next Mike, next Ricky. This is my list, and for I in range, I'm using range and len function, and that len function I'm using list, right? Okay, print hello to list I. This is my code. What I want one close bracket. Why it's not closing by itself? Okay, okay. Let's execute this code and see what will happen. Hello, Peter. Hello. List I is taking range length from Peter, and then Joseph, then Mike, then Ricky. Right? This is loop using range function. We tried it. Nested for loop. Python allows us to nest any number of for loops inside a for loop. The inner loop is executed n number of times for every iteration of the outer loop. The syntax of nested for loop is for iterating where one is sequence, outer loop of iteration where two in sequence, inner loop, then block statement, then other statement. You will understand this while checking the example. Now let's try this nested for loop in our example. We'll get into the code and nested for loop. Nested for loop. Here, log. User input the number of rows. Right? What is that? Rows is equal to int input, enter the rows. Next, outer loop will print number of asterisks, number of rows. Outer loop will print number of rows. Inner rows, user input for I in range 0 comma rows plus 1. Next, for j in range of I, print 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 what do you print? We print star comma n is equal to colon. Then we print back again nothing. What we have is for I, we have it here range, and here we'll comment it as a inner loop will print number of asterisks. Enter the rows 7, 6. We have the 7 stars 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you change it to 22, you have 22 stars. I hope this helped you out to understand this. If you want, I can show you one more example. Program to number of pyramid. Program to write a program to print number of pyramids. Program to number of pyramid. Now rows is equal to int input input enter the rows. Okay, next line for I in range 0 comma rows less 1. For j in range is I, then print I comma end end is equal to colon colon, and then print nothing. Now see what it will do. Enter the number of rows. I'm entering 9. Now you have the pyramid of 9. 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, and 9 nines. This is the pyramid what it has built up. Right. Next, we'll move on to nested loop. We have finished nested loop. Write this code using else statement with for loop. Unlike other languages like C, C++, or Java, Python allows us to use the else statements with the for loop, which can be executed only when all the iterations are exhausted. Here, we must notice that if the loop contains any of the break statements, then the else statements will not execute. Else statement will not execute. Let's try this in our example of code. Else statement with for loop. Else statement with for loop statement. For I in range 0, comma 7, for example, print I, right? Else print for loop exhausted since there is no break. Now, in the result, you can see that for loop is completely exhausted since there is no break. We haven't given any break there, so it's getting exhausted. See, so This is where we have cortex cluster. Now we'll try another example with break. Okay, for I in range 0 comma 5, now print I, break, it will break, else print for loop is exhausted. Next print loop is broken due to break statement came out of the loop. 0. The loop is broken due to break statement came out of the loop. This is the case. In, the, in this example, the loop is broken due to the break statement. Therefore, the else statement will not be executed. The statement present immediate next to the else block will be executed. Else block will be executed immediate to the else block. So the else block is that. The loop is broken due to the break statement came out of the loop. We will learn more about the break statement in further tutorials. So thanks for spending time, guys. Hope you understand this topic. If you have any doubts, feel free to contact me via email. Thank you. See you next class.